Welcome, America. My name is John Estrata. We're here broadcasting Conservative America, and this is Father's Day weekend for all you fathers out there. I am very blessed to be a father and a grandfather, and that's God's gift to me. It is really a great opportunity to deal and help your children out during good times, bad times, and ugly times. And that's a cross we all have to bear as fathers. And I take that with a lot of responsibility and honor. And so it's really, really important that fatherhood is recognized as a very part of life itself. You have a good father, then most likely the family is going to be structured and work out very good for everybody concerned. So this has been a truly amazing journey. We're back on the program again with Conservative America. And today we're fortunate to be joined by Lou. And Lou, I'll let Lou talk just briefly about what his show is. He broadcasts also on the Radio Tribune Network. Lou, welcome to today's Conservative America, and tell the troops here what exactly your programming is all about.
Well, my program is really all about patriotism. It's about this country. It's about America. I've had other shows that are called The Voice of the Independents, and my Green Wizard Energy show is all about energy. And as a solar contractor, I'm well aware of the natural resources that we have at our disposal. It's too bad that we can't dedicate the monies and so forth that we're spending in other countries to this country. And so, John, I'm not sure where you started on this because
Well, I'll tell you, we basically started with the idea that it's Father's Day weekend, and I said that it's very vital that fatherhood is taken on with great responsibility, because I think that families without a father have a difficult time in America.
Well, there's no question about it that family is very important, and I happen to have grown up literally without a father. Yes, I had a few stepfathers and so forth, but my real father disappeared when I was about 3, and my mother was a working mother, so she worked full time as a waitress and did very well. She supported us as best as possible, but it really destroyed the family life, and the family life is what it's really all about. I wanted to make sure that when I was married and had children, that the same thing didn't happen to my children that had happened to me, because it was a very lonely, very anxious period of my life that could have been different.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate. I had a great father. My father passed away last year, and he was always there. Very loyal, dependable, hardworking, Korean War veteran. He was truly my hero. And this will be my first Father's Day weekend day without him. So.
It's not that I didn't appreciate my father, because I appreciated him while I was there. But hey, children don't really think on the same level as adults, but they do have feelings. They do want to feel loved, and the other things that come with it. And so it is an educational process that takes place. And when you have a good father, that good father is going to guide you and say, now look, I don't want you to look at the day after tomorrow and what you're going to do to play out the yard or anything else. What you really need to think about is the future way beyond, because you're young, you have a good life in front of you if you only take care of it. And if you don't know what's up there, if you don't know what the odds are, then you really are going to be fighting from the rear instead of from the front. And so a good father is hard to find. It's just like a good man is hard to find. And we can say the same thing about women. A good woman is hard to find. But there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, because the reason for that is really simple. There has to be peaks and valleys in a relationship, even if they're invisible. for example, if you have a beautiful wife or something, there's some guy that's going to want to put in his 2 cents or cause confusion in the marriage. And I've been married several times, and I enjoy marriage, but at the same time, I recognize that there are just things that happen on a daily basis that can throw the relationship out of bounds. And one has to be very, very careful to make sure that they don't go overboard in the assumption of power or caring relationship that you have with your spouse. And so, yes, Father's Day is a very important day, and I hope that those who have fathers appreciate the fact that they do have a father that they can point to and know that that's Daddy.
Yeah, our topic today, of course, is Father's Day weekend, and responsibilities of the family. So if you would like to call in and talk about Father's Day, fathers, or it's Friday, so our topics are pretty light today. Anything that you have in mind that you think that needs to be addressed that we haven't covered during the week time, Friday would be the time to do it. We'll try to stay very focused on our daily subject matter, but if something has to get in, it has to get in, and that's the way I believe. So please call in. Our number here is 559-803-0555. That's 559-803-0555. This is Conservative America, and fathers. My father's no longer here with me. He's in heaven, and I appreciated the 60-plus years that I knew him.
I know. I'm going to give another thought about the fathers because this is really something that's bothering me a lot. The mere fact that we, on a show earlier today, we talked about the reason why we're in Afghanistan. Of course, we still don't have the answer. I don't have the answer.
It's a complex answer.
Well, I don't think it's that complex. Either we're in or we're out. And if we're in, what are we in for? And that's exactly what I was trying to explain, John, is what are we in there for? What do we achieve by doing this?
Well, what happens, Lou, is that, I think too many people try to make life right or wrong, black or white, very oversimplified. Life is not that. Issues are not that way. Life is very complex. We're in Afghanistan. It may seem like it's a very simple process, but it's not. It's very complex. There's a lot of, and first of all, there's many people involved in this decision. Not just the president, not just Congress, American people evidently are supporting it. Let me tell you, Lou, if America was not supporting it, we would not be there.
If America's not involved in the decision-making process, okay, that is done by a military. And I know how military is, because I was in the military, not the same one that you were. But I know, I do know what military is all about, the discipline and everything that goes with it. And I do know that when you're under orders to attack or whatever, that's what you're supposed to do.
You do it. You don't ask questions, you do it.
But the issue that I'm trying to get to is this. There is another side, which is the other people that are in Afghanistan. Are we just saying that every Afghan should be shot? We used to say that there's no good Indian except a dead Indian. Now, we talk about, you said, well, how do you explain aggressor and how do you explain imperialism? Well, imperialism is taking over. That's what it means, take over.
Well, but I'm just saying, who has the credibility or trust to brand America that? Who does? I mean, everybody.
The Second World War. We hesitated to get into that war, and only after we were pushed into the war did we enter the war. We didn't go out and aggressively say, "Hey, we're taking over."
But we were still accused of imperialism.
No, they weren't.
No, we were.
No, we weren't. No, because Hitler was accused of imperialism.
Everybody was accusing everybody of imperialism.
Well,
the Japanese were very important in that process.
We had to defend ourselves. Now, case in point, where we had to defend ourselves, and we went in there, and we were the ones that were actually the successful units, that we managed to put our military together in a form that we won, that we got Japan to surrender, we got Germany to surrender.
Well, you know, I think that God gave us mercy and God blessed us because it was more than just our will. It was divine intervention. There was a lot of times during the wars against Germany and the Japanese that pure faith helped us.
Okay, but
It helped us because, like, for instance,
good point.
think about it. The Japanese would have, after Pearl Harbor attack in the first round, let's say they would have hit a second time, a third time, a fourth time, right after one another, but they stopped and they gave us a chance to regain the momentum that we eventually got at Midway. Well, or during the Battle of Germany, yeah, the Battle of the Bulge. That's the same thing. The weather. The weather was a big factor.
Well, there's a lot of conditions and so forth that
so God's intervention.
Well, it's like Germany and trying to invade Russia.
Exactly.
And Russia had nature on its side.
Exactly.
And the Germans ran out of supply units. They ran out of. They were freezing to death and so forth. So we understand that. But my point is this: at what time do we say enough is enough and quit spending our money abroad? Now, if you're saying that we're making money on war,
we're not making money on war. We spend money on war.
Then
we're losing money on war.
Why are we doing it?
It's not just about money, because if it was just about money, we
What
wouldn't be doing
What is
it.
it just about? John, I've been asking this question all day today. What is it about?
It's not about money.
I see.
Because our politicians don't care about money. They don't care about money. If they cared about money, we would not be $20 trillion in the hole.
They do care about money because we're going to find ourselves in a trap right here. Okay? The trap is that our paper money is fiat money. It's worthless. It's not even good enough to wipe.
Hold on. Let's see if we got a live caller here. Hello, may I help you? Hello, may I help you?
John.
Yes, who is this?
John Estrata, it's Clark O'Brien. I call you every millennium.
I don't know who that is. Okay. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So point I'm trying to make is that sooner or later we're going to run across somebody who has got a dirty bomb or something else, or EMP, or nuclear power that we can't stop. And you can say, well, we were able to stop them. Gee, if that's the case, then why haven't we stopped it in the past? And why can we not confront and do something about ISIS here in the homeland, where we've had approximately 40 attacks here in the United States?
Well, you know what? I'm totally with the idea that one is too many. You have one attack, that's too many. You know, I remember growing up with our World War II veterans, and their rallying point was always, we can never forget Pearl Harbor. We can never forget Pearl Harbor. And then 9/11 happened. And now everybody says we can never forget 9/11.
And we keep saying, remember the Alamo.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the problem is that we're remembering all these things that happened, and we're supposed to be getting over that. We're not getting over it. But one thing that today's thought was Father's Day. And so this is why I brought this up. You see, because all of the millions of people who have died, many of them had families. Okay? And we know that the family is the core unit. And that family is meant to keep the children and so forth in line, and to educate them and to give them a chance for prosperity in the future. Well, when we send our soldiers to Iraq or some other place and 5,000 of them are wiped out, what do you think about the children and the consequences to the family?
That's a lifelong journey that they have to suffer. Like you suffered without your father. Many people suffer without their father.
Oh, so that's a justification for losing a body? No, I don't think so. That's not justification.
No, I'm not saying it's justified for that. I mean, just it happens, but we still have to recognize the fact that there's great pain in that.
And they gave up their lives for nothing?
I don't believe they gave up their lives for nothing.
What happened in Iraq? Did they give up their life for nothing?
I tell you what, not one person in my lifetime have I truly believe they gave up their life for nothing if they served in the United States military. It was for something. It was for something more than a lot of people could understand.
Well, I can't understand it because Saddam Hussein was on our side at one time. So is
well, but evidently he changed and he started his negative attack against the United States and started to pound his chest.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah, but see, some people can't accept that. You know, you walk in the streets of America today, and you give somebody a snarl look and a dirty look, and see if you don't end up in a little hand-to-hand battle. You know, sometimes you blink at somebody wrong. Or actually, when you cut in front of somebody in the car.
No, that's not the same. It's not the same thing as killing somebody or going out and deliberately killing them. That's exactly what we're doing. We're going out and deliberately killing people. And we don't really know the true identity of those people that are being killed. You can say, well, we got most of the Taliban that day. Well, then where the hell are they coming from? You know, we sent big bombs over.
Well, get used to it. We'll always have an enemy.
That's fine. But we will always have an enemy if we have open borders. And if we don't close the damn borders, we will always have enemies, and we will always have incidents that get by, just like this guy that went to the baseball game.
Well, I agree with you one thing. We gotta secure our borders. It makes sense.
Okay, so then why are we spending the money on the borders instead of in Afghanistan? And I'm saying
it's politics.
Politics is BS as far as I'm concerned. We need to protect the borders of the United States.
Some judges don't believe we need to protect our borders.
Some judges don't.
Some judges
I see. Are they
the Ninth Circuit has put a stop on a lot of what Trump.
Are they the plurality of the nation?
They have power.
They have power. Does that give them the right to do these things that are unjustifiable?
I don't think so, but they do.
Okay, and when I was talking about the borders of the United States, I'm talking about putting up something that makes money from the very first mile. From the very first mile. So, it doesn't cost to build an amusement park. Of course it costs to build an amusement park. But they have revenue coming in to support that. And isn't that the name of the game? If you're going to put money out, get something back.
Sure.
And if you don't get anything back, why do it?
Government's not like that. Government's not like that. Business is like that. And that's why it's really great that we have Donald Trump as president. It's because he's going to think like a businessman.
Okay. Government has been the problem, as many presidents have indicated throughout life, that government is the problem. It's not the answer. The answer is that we, the people, have elected them to represent the people. It's supposed to be a government for the people, by the people.
Unfortunately, a lot of people believe that the only time that they have is on election day. And after they vote, they forget about it after 2 years or 4 years. And they let the elected officials be the boss.
They didn't do that in the American Revolution.
Well, I think now people are starting to wake up.
I don't think anybody's waking up.
You are.
Well,
are you somebody?
I'm somebody. I'm just a peanut.
No,
I'm not a spoke on a wheel.
Well, let me tell you what that little spoke on the wheel is doing. You're on the air, and you have a great opportunity to talk to America. You're on the Conservative American Broadcast Network. And I think it's very important that your message is put out there. Now, you may not have everybody agree with you, but I tell you what, you're a respectable person for getting on and giving your opinion. And that's what America's all about. Well, you're a patriot. You're out there looking and analyzing things, what you think is best for America.
Yes, what I think is best for America, and I beg to differ with anybody who says anything else. That we should not take care of America first. That we should not make America great again, because if we don't, we're going to lose it.
I'm on your side on that. Both issues that you talked about right now, make America first, always first, and make America great again. Both those philosophies work right into my program. I like that. That's great. That's what we have to do. But let's face the facts. We have had 8 years of a total disaster. And we've been set back so far, so much money has been spent. In that $10 trillion that Obama spent, can you imagine we could have built all our infrastructure in the United States?
Yeah, but his friends are fat.
Oh, you watching the market.
Yes, well, again, John, have a tendency to get emotional about America because I think that we need to get on track and we need to make sure that the government understands it's not their final decision.
Well, I think you need to put spotlights on the people that need a spotlight to be put on. And that's what this show's all about. Putting spotlights on corruption, putting spotlights on government entities.
How about we start with Hillary Clinton?
Well, Hillary Clinton, I think both of them are the way they're going to be a memory in the distant future.
Well, a memory, but what they've caused and the destruction they've caused, just like what Obama has done, enacting 93 laws against Christianity. 93 laws against Christianity that basically says you can't say prayers, you can't do this, you can't be a chaplain, you can't have Bibles, all that.
I don't care about all that in the past. You know, I have a philosophy is the best moment is now. That's yesterday. Let's deal with what we have now on the table.
Let's deal with it.
It's simple.
It's simple. If I can deal
we have to be better.
If I can deal with you, and we can deal with it in a 10 or 15 minute period of time, why in the world can't our Congress simply say we're repealing all 93 laws created into action?
It's bureaucrats. And also not only it's bureaucrats.
They're supposed to represent us.
Yeah, but it's not only bureaucrats, but it's politics. And it's years and decades and centuries of rules, processes, and they all have to follow a proper format. And so unfortunately, it takes time.
Unfortunately, John, there's so much opposition against anything that's said. Anything that is of a positive nature runs into resistance almost immediately, and it delays the process, and the process has got to be streamlined. And we have to do things. We can't wait. If we have an EMP, we're not going to be able to wait for 6 weeks for something to happen.
But let me say, the advantage that we have today is we have the internet. That's a great equalizer. We have the opportunity to get our message out there day and day and day. And millions of people hear this going on. I mean, I hear it every single day from my Facebook friends. You know, I got a notice from Facebook the other day. 88,000 people have liked my Facebook likes.
That's good.
You know, and I was like shocked. I thought it was more like about 10. But, you know, it's like a lot of people are paying attention and they're getting involved. We just have to just step up our game and just work harder. Like you have a very valuable message to tell America.
Call them all together for the Rice Bowl. We'll get them all in there and then we'll tell them what the real purpose is.
Yeah.
If it talks about entertainment, yeah, they'll probably come.
Well, you know, a lot of times what's happening too in America is that people have so many problems in their own family lives. They have to deal with all those problems first, and so they really don't have the time to focus on what's happening in D.C. or Clark. I mean, not Clark.
Well, it's not new. You remember in Roman times when they all went to the Colosseum to watch the gladiators?
Sure.
Okay, so things really haven't changed that much. They'll take the time to go see somebody get killed, but they won't take the time.
I tell you, I agree with you. I agree. You said at 12 o'clock next Friday. Come on down to downtown Fremont Experience. We're going to have an execution. I guarantee you that place will be filled.
Yeah. So if somebody was getting hung or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Hanging at the court at the Fremont Experience. I guarantee you have 1 million people out there.
Look, if the Muslims can behead people, then why can't we?
Well, you know, I'm not a violent. I don't believe in violence, but I do believe in self-defense.
Well, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah. Well,
and an eye for an eye and tooth for tooth. And that's the philosophy that has lived throughout the century. But we don't seem to be able to. Now I'm trying to think which country it was. That I think it may have been Russia. I'm not sure. But when they found a terrorist, not only did they get the terrorists, but they went after the family and killed the family.
Well,
And guess what? It stopped. Now I'm not sure that it was Russia. But
well, it's like what happened in Mexico in the '60s. They started to have protesters at the college campuses, and what they did is the Mexican government went out there, took some soldiers out there with machine guns, and they killed them all right there on the spot. And I guarantee you, you never had another protest like that again in Mexico.
yeah, that's,
Some violent acts. People pay attention to.
We're not exactly virgins here in the United States. We had Kent University, we had Waco, we had Ruby Mountain. We have had our own incidents here where we have blatantly went out and killed people. Even Bonnie and Clyde, it took a dozen FBI agents or more to corner them and ambush them. We do some horrendous things. We've done some horrendous things here in the United States. Yet we still don't want to take up after the enemy here that's causing us the problems, is giving us 9/11 and all the other atrocities that have taken place.
Well,
what time point are we going to change?
Well, see, and I think, and that's where I've always been on the side that you protect all the borders, not just the southern border. Because if you remember 9/11, they came in through Canada. The terrorists came in through Canada, not through Mexico. And so you got to really be focused on all borders, including air travel in the United States. You got to have everything under control. Because you know what? If you stop one side, the cockroaches will go through the other side.
Agreed, but you have to start with one side to clean them out.
I think
if you don't clean the cockroaches out of
they'll go around. They'll go around. So you get them all at one time.
So you're saying we shouldn't do anything?
No, I'm saying you got to do it all. I'm not saying it may take time.
I never said we shouldn't do it all.
You do it all.
China built the China Wall, which was 6,000 miles long.
In fact, our topic yesterday was safe, keeping America safe. You just don't focus just about the southern border, because that's vital. That's security. But you know what? It all is. North too. West, east. Through the skies, through the seas, everything. And that's where we have to be safe.
Didn't China do it?
I don't know.
China completed it. Okay? It took, I believe, almost 100 years for them to complete the 6,000 miles. That's a lot of territory.
Yeah. And it may take time, but the point is, they didn't have to worry about anybody for a long time.
That's right.
Probably 1,000 years.
That's right. Now we've got airplanes and they fly right over.
Yeah. One guy, I don't know, I seen this clip by the former president of Mexico really blasting Trump on his wall and stuff like that. And oh my God, he ranted and ranted and ranted. He says, you're going to spend this billion or $1 million wall, and all these guys are going to do is get ladders and crawl over them.
Well, I disagree with that, because if you have something that's 60 feet tall, you're going to have a little trouble getting over it. And see, what I tried to explain a little bit, and I'm sure you didn't grasp it, was that I'm not considering a wall. I'm considering an expressway, and the expressway will travel along the borders and provide not only all of the commodities I'm talking about in terms of water, electricity, natural gas.
Okay, so you're saying don't build a wall, build a freeway.
Build a structure, because the structure is no different than an airport. Okay, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. And this is not something of my imagination. This is something that I've already created a long time ago.
That's interesting. That's an interesting concept. That's the first time I've heard it, but that's an interesting concept that you do something other than a wall, maybe a freeway or structure.
Well, that's a freeway structure. It's a freeway structure, but it does have basically it has several things. It's got a wall on both sides. You have to have the wall.
Sure, you've got retaining walls and stuff like that.
Well, you do. I mean, we don't have walls on the highway right now. We have curbs and things of that nature. Okay,
but let's see. Nobody's going to be crossing in front of a freeway when cars are going 80 miles an hour.
You don't want to be crossing the freeway with cars. I mean, even I get nervous.
Yeah, 80 miles would never make it, especially make it a high speed zone. Make it 80 miles.
Yeah, dragging your kids, it ain't going to work. So the point is that if you're having, you have to understand that this is really a structure very comparable to very comparable to a train station, only elevated.
Yeah, I think that works.
And having our own transmission lines underneath the guideway, which is what it's called, it's a guideway. And high-speed transportation is performed by what we've been using for years and years and years and years. And it's different. It doesn't have any wheels.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any magnets. What is it?
I don't have a clue. What is it?
Well, it's been around for 100 years. Now, come on. Certainly you know about it.
I don't.
You ever heard of hovercraft?
Oh, okay, hovercraft. Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, we always think of it in the context of a ship on the ocean. And
Yeah.
of course, that's been there for over 100 years.
Sure.
And they travel about 18 inches off the water.
Yeah.
And they travel with great speeds, up to about 95 miles an hour, carrying huge loads. And they traveled across the English Channel for 18 years or so. But the reason they stopped it wasn't that they weren't effective, because there were no accidents in that period of time. But the reason they stopped it is because they were using 4 Rolls-Royce engines that burned a hell of a lot of fuel. And that's the reason they stopped at pure economics. This system does not have that problem because it generates its own electricity, number one. Number two, it doesn't have to carry fuel.
Not electricity through magnets or?
No magnets. You don't need magnets. Magnets are 3 times more expensive than even fuel. And why? Because, well, in China, for example, they only have, 30, 40 miles at most of the high-speed transportation system. That's all, 30, 40 miles. But they send 3,000 Chinamen out every night to clean 12 miles of track. 3,000 Chinamen to clean that amount of track. I guess it's about 10 or 12 miles a day that they clean.
We've been talking with Lou, and this is Conservative America. If you would like to call in and talk about Father's Day, about the issues of the day, keeping Americans safe, anything that you think is vital on this Friday afternoon, the number is 559-803-0555. We're broadcasting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, on Radio Tribune Network, and we look forward to hearing from you. That is 559-803-0555. Lou, another topic we could talk about, and I know you're really into this, is patriots, being a patriot. What does that mean to you? Patriot? I want your definition of what you believe a patriot means.
Patriot means that someone who subscribes to the laws of the United States and abides by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. But I'm going to go further than that, because you see it's simpler than that. All we need is the 10 Commandments. If we follow the 10 Commandments, we will be in line with the guidelines of the Constitution. So being a patriot means that you're for the country first, last, and always. And I am for the country first, last, and always. But at the same time, I'm going to try to protect it, to try to make sure to do my part, because you mentioned something earlier about having faith. Faith is wonderful, but faith without works is useless.
It's that. Anyway, and I notice you have a cross on, and I believe that God to you is vital. You're a religious guy, and you believe in God, and is that part of patriotism? That's part of being a patriot?
Well, it is part of patriotism if in fact that's part of the concept of the Bill of Rights in the Constitution. Unfortunately, we've just been stripped of most of those rights by Obama with 93 acts he enacted into law during his administration.
I think next time we have an opportunity is, why don't we go through, if we can print out the 93 acts, we will put them on the air, and we'll talk, and we'll start promoting that, so that the powers to be will put a spotlight on it and make sure that everybody knows what these acts are. Because I never knew that they did 93 acts against Christianity or against the American citizens or what they were. But it'd be great for America to know what they are.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They've done things like terminated services in the armed forces and people who preach. As far as
we'll put a big campaign and a good strategy, and letting Congress know that, and the president know that these executive order needs to be taken care of here, or a law needs to be passed, that our patriotism and being a patriot means that they don't go against Christianity, because that's not cool.
It's not cool, that's for sure. And if there are no guidelines for children, what are they going to do? They're going to go where they can be accepted. And if it happens to be the gangs, or seeing that their friends get away with shoplifting or stealing cars or doing dope or any of those other things, they're going to do it. You need to keep people preoccupied and going in the right direction, even if they falter a little bit. Try to keep them on the road so that they can get back on course and they can do what's right for America and the future. It's not only about us that are living and breathing today, because at some point in time we're going to stop.
Yeah. And you know, I think it's vital that we all focus on helping the future of America. And I think, you know, not only making America great again, but making the future of America great again.
Is there anything else? Do we get a chance to relive our lives? Not on this earth, we don't.
In other words, you know, our day, everybody's day is numbered. We just don't know how many days that is.
That's true. We don't know. I could go out of here this weekend and not come back.
Exactly. So, Patriot, who, out of all the people in the world you could think of, who do you think, in your mind, is the number one patriot in America today?
The number one patriot in America today? No. Well, I think there's a few choices that we have.
Well, just give me one. I just want one patriot we'll talk about.
Well, right now,
who do you think is living up to that legacy of being a patriot?
Well, I think Trump is a patriot. I think.
Okay, so definitely Trump will be classified, and I agree with you. I think Trump is definitely a patriot. I think throughout his life he cares about America. Now he cares about making money too, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with him making money. A lot of people they want to see his tax returns. They want to know. They get mad because he's making money. I don't see that as a problem.
But I don't see it as a problem. He's been very fortunate or lucky, whatever you want to call it.
Blessed. He's blessed, and that's good.
And we can't stop people from that because
I like success. I like for people to be successful. That's cool.
But
Somebody's got to pay
what
the bills.
He has done to show
Somebody's got to pay the bills.
What he has done to show his patriotism, he said, I'm not going to take a salary. I'm not going to spend billions of dollars on an airplane. I already got one. These are the types of things that indicate to me that he's on the right track and he wants to do it for the right purposes. That's important. All these other people who have been elected and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get elected. And why have they done it? Have they done it for the good of the people, or have they done it for the good of themselves, knowing that they're going to have a very nice salary, and that in most cases they're going to have some retirement funds so that they can live on in their life, and to hell with everybody else.
Yeah. You know, it's like, to me, I think some of the things that Donald Trump has done in his past history is he's helped a lot of people. And he don't get on national TV and say, oh, I want you to broadcast all the people that I've helped. I mean, he has done so much by helping veterans, and you don't need somebody to pat him on the back or give him a big publicity stunt saying that, oh, well, you're not on the same. I think that's pretty cool too.
He's very humble. He's a working president. And there's no one that can say he's not a working president. He doesn't take time off to go play golf like Obama did, to spend $3 billion on a vacation in Hawaii at our expense. Those things, he doesn't do that. He doesn't. He doesn't need to.
See, the difference between Obama and Trump, I truly believe that Trump cares about America. Obama, on the other hand, he hated America. Obama hated America, and he wanted America to change to the way he believed America needed to be.
As a Muslim.
well, the point is he wanted to change according to whatever way philosophy he liked. To me, I think Trump loves America, but he truly believes that he wants to make it better, but he don't hate it, and I think Obama hated it.
Well, we can build up hatred towards people who oppose us, and perhaps rightfully so. And a lot of what has gone on with the Trump administration is character assassination. And I believe that we all have the First Amendment that we should be allowed to say what we want. But by the same token, when you do character assassination and demeanor, and that is a crime.
Well, especially if you're inciting violence. Violence, it's not cool for everybody to go over there and say, you got to go out there and hurt somebody, or that is nonsense.
That was covered in the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act simply says this: any person who incites the civilian population into
I don't see anybody's enforcing that law. I don't think anybody's been prosecuted for the Patriot law.
If they were, Harry Reid would be hung.
Well, I'm glad you brought Harry Reid's name up. They have Las Vegas has a great tourist attraction, the Mob Museum, and I think we should nominate Harry Reid to be inducted into the Mob Museum.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, frankly. And then we can go and throw darts at him. But the point is that, yes, there's been a lot of atrocities committed by people we didn't suspect. People who have done this for their own greed and for power, because a lot of times that greed has to be split with a few other people. And so, but the power that he has given through these avenues is what's terrible, because a lot of those people can affect a lot of the other people who work for them, where they can incite other people to follow them in the same direction. But that is in the Patriot Act. Any person who incites...
We need to make sure that they start enforcing that Patriot Act, because I think that in the past year or so, we've seen a lot of acts of that being crossed over, and people need to be prosecuted. Up to right now, I think we have a anarchy that's been going on with our high-level government officials, and really nobody is being held accountable. And I think the process started during the Obama administration. The too large to fail concept. Not only do they reward all these financial institutions with lots of resources that save them from going under, but nobody ever got prosecuted for that. There was a lot of crimes that were committed.
And there was also laws that basically says that Congress is immune to literally anything.
Not only Congress, but every government agency in America is immune from prosecution. They don't prosecute very many government officials from the local, state, and national level.
And isn't it funny that all of these cops, and it's not that I dislike police officers, not because I don't, but that all of these cops who have been deliberately, who were seen, videoed, and everything else, shooting people while they're on the ground and helpless, and getting away with it.
And what they call it justified killing. I talked to a medical examiner one day in Santa Clara County. He was a medical examiner, and he was getting ready for retirement, so he didn't care what he said to me about the process of justified killings and stuff like that. He says, as long as you have people that are all together making decisions to protect themselves from any kind of prosecutions, you'll never prosecute anybody. And so the way that system works is that the police departments, the sheriff's departments, the highway patrol, the district attorneys, the medical examiners, they all work together to ensure that nobody's ever prosecuted for justified.
I think they call that something of the blue, code of the blue. That's what it's called. Code of the blue that basically says, hey, we can lie, cheat, steal, but, we have to protect one another, and that's what they do. And that's what they do.
And really the only recourse is not prosecuting the police officers that are not justified in their killings, but a lot of times they're sued in civilly, and the juries end up giving the families lots of money. So that's the only payoff that they get. If it's really a crazy,
it's a very difficult thing. It's a very painful thing for somebody who's an innocent victim of the crime.
Well, the problem is I think that history repeats itself. So if a bad cop does something stupid and crazy and evil and like that, they shouldn't be allowed a second shot at it. Do you think so?
I don't think they should be. No.
You got to get them out of it.
And I don't think they should be on leave with pay.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that a lot of times they're covered from their name being published in publications. Like, for instance, if a police officer got involved with it, they don't want to release the officer's name. And I think that should be public transparency. I think that should be public information. If a bad cop does something stupid, their name should be published. And a big picture should be put up there and say, hey, look, this cop did something bad.
Well, we could give them the same privilege, innocent until proven guilty. Once they're proven guilty, then all hell should break loose.
Yeah. And just like, where I come from, a place in Fresno, the deputy chief of police was just prosecuted for criminal acts. He basically was a drug dealer inside the police department.
Nothing surprised me. Nothing surprised me.
Does that surprise you?
That doesn't surprise me at all, because we have a lot of bad people in high positions. They get there because they've been suede shoe salespeople. They have the power of persuasion. A lot of that is charm and personality, and they can be Dr. Hyde and Jekyll.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jekyll. So the point is that we don't know. And I've seen so many times, even in some of my personal relationships, people that I never, ever, ever thought that would be directly opposite of what they portrayed. Couldn't believe that they turned out to be
the way they were.
And talking about high-profile people like Tesla, for example. Tesla, who created so many wonderful things, and including this electric vehicle. He didn't build the electric vehicle, but just the fact that he was the one that was responsible, not
Edison.
Yeah, who created alternate current. And what happened was,
in other words, he didn't make all the money; the other guy did.
Edison promised Tesla $50,000, and back then that $50,000 would be like $1 million or $2 million today.
Sure.
And he said, if you can do this, he says, I will give you $50,000. And so he worked very hard, very diligently to get that job done. And when it was all over and done, he went to Edison. He said, okay, where's my money? And he says, oh, I was only joking.
Oh my!
And it was Tesla was so taken back that he quit and went to work as a ditch digger.
Wow.
And after a year or two, he finally found another avenue to take, and then he started to pursue it again. But the point is that here you have people in high positions who promise things and never deliver. Yeah. Tell them what they want to hear, give them nothing. Now, that better not be the way it is with Trump. I've heard and everything, and I've supported him from the very beginning. I haven't even leaned slightly in the other direction ever since.
Oh, you're still supporting Trump?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately?
Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you see, because I don't want to become the demographic. And that demographic means Democrat, and I'm not going to be one.
And you're not a statistic.
I'm not a statistic. I'm an individual, and I'm a patriot. I do support him. I always have, and I always will. I'll follow him.
Let me tell you one thing. I think that is no doubt was the court is now being sent in the right direction with the new appointment of the U.S. Supreme Court Justice. I think that helped a lot. Well, it could have been disastrous had Obama got his pick in. Well, but Trump got his pick in, And these other justices are getting really, really old.
I
And
don't
so
know. I
I
don't
truly,
know. I think that I still see a lot of resistance on the judgeships and those things. We need to clean the board, start fresh.
well, the U.S. I'm talking about the U.S. Supreme Court. Those judges that are left on there, a lot of them are getting to be way, way older.
Yeah.
And so,
What's that woman's name?
It's Ginsburg.
Ginsburg.
Anyway, the point is
She
that
looks like a skeleton.
yeah, the point is that I think Trump has a great ability to have maybe 3 or 4 more picks. And can you imagine the conservative philosophy for the next 100 years?
Well, what I can imagine right now is that we have people like Ginsburg who in one of the highest ranking positions in the United States, has come out and vehemently opposed Trump from the beginning, and that position is not supposed to be apolitical.
You mean the U.S. Supreme Court should not be biased? And they can't rule on decisions if they're biased?
They should not. They should recluse themselves if they
Exactly.
if they have any in good faith. We didn't put them in.
Well, unfortunately, you're gonna find that the other side doesn't play by the rules that they want us to play by.
Well, we've seen that, and so, but it's time to quit playing around and get serious about what we're doing and make some immediate decisions. Some of them are not going to be liked at all, and that's too bad. That's too bad because we have an elected president, and you want to impeach him, and every other word out of
you know what? This thing is impeachment. If we couldn't impeach William Jefferson Clinton of high crimes and misdemeanors, there's absolutely nothing that even comes close of high crimes and misdemeanors that Donald Trump has done.
Yeah.
And so I think they could talk the talk. They can't even walk the walk because everything they're talking is all fantasy. It's all fake news and corrupt news. Yeah. And so they could say stuff. They keep saying, "Oh, Russia did it. Russia did it. Russia didn't do nothing. It happened here in America."
Well, Russia hasn't got anything.
And besides, if Russia did do it, it was under Obama's watch. What was his intelligence agencies doing during this whole time to protect the election process?
Well, again, there's many issues that need to be cleared up, and one of the things that we need to do, for sure, is decide who our friends are and who the enemy really is. And as far as Russia is concerned, I do not see them as the enemy.
I don't think so either. I don't think China is either. I think you have some Looney Tunes like North Korea that in short order are going to be taken care of. They're not going to be allowed to keep making stupid statements. And unfortunately, like we talked about earlier, sticks and stones might break bones, but words will never hurt me. In this case, words will going to hurt him. Words going to hurt him.
Again, North Korea is a substantial nuclear threat. And
well, the United States needs to end that war. We've been at war with North Korea for almost 60 years, I believe, and it's time to end it once and for all.
Then we have to wipe them out.
Yeah, exactly. We were enemies with Vietnam. Look at now we're trading partners with them, and we love each other. And here, all the people that died in Vietnam, it's what? It's all was done.
Well, if we're truly going to clear up some of the situations, we have to.
But you can't go.
We have to recognize what we're doing and recognize that in order to complete the job, we need to wipe some people out, whether we like it or not. Exactly. And do I want to see that happening? No, I don't want to see that happen. But I also understand that this world is overpopulated, way overpopulated, and if we don't do something, God will, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, I'm a firm believer is that we need to solve that problem with North Korea sooner than later. I think we should do it now, and so that we can start making North Korea and South Korea and that whole region a peaceful area. We don't need another distraction on the world scene. We have enough in the Middle East and stuff. Now, Middle East is going to be a lot more complex. Well, but North Korea, to me, I think it's way, way over time to deal with that problem. And I like Donald Trump's idea of solving problems. I think he's going to solve that problem.
I don't have any problem with trying to straighten out North Korea, but I don't think it's going to happen peacefully. I think it's going to have to be militarily.
Oh yeah, no, and you're right. You're right.
And the issue is this, that North Korea and South Korea are bitter enemies. Bitter enemies. They're just like the Civil War.
Yeah.
Here in the United States, the difference was we had the North against the South.
Well, but look at America now.
Now we have Democrats against Americans.
Touche. Anyway, this has been a really good conversation with Lou, and we're talking about Father's Day and international politics and our president and all the good things.
All I can say to add to that is if you have a father, get on your hands and knees and praise him, because he can see you through. And we all need guidance. Every single one of us needs guidance.
Yeah.
And hopefully the guidance that you get is going to be beneficial.
Well, I put in a post today. I put a post today that all fathers' job is never done. You know, as a father, I take that God's gift, and I believe that it is my duty to help my children and my grandchildren as long as they need it, because that's the way it is. That's my destiny, and hopefully for them they'll pass the good works on to their children and their grandchildren. I've got six grandsons, and hopefully one day they all be good fathers and grandfathers, and they be the best they can be. So I thank everybody for a great show. It's been very entertaining, and we want to next week we're going to step up a game a little bit better and be very, very positive and get our message out. Hopefully we can get those issues from Lou so we can talk one by one on what all these executive orders Obama did to America, and hopefully our Congress and then the new president can rectify the problem. It may take some time, but we have time right now, but we've got to start that process sooner than later. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and Lou, is there anything else you have to say?